Hello everyone, so here we are with another special video and continuing with the Hildibrand quests. And so we need to speak with Wymond near Sunset Tapestries. And it's right there. Wymond. Well now, if it ain't my favorite venture and my favorite mithril eye, reporter along with air. Tell me, what have I done to deserve the pleasure of your company today? I see. As much as I'd like to help two lovely ladies, I'm afraid you've found old Wymond at a loss. Hilda has more than his fair share of treasures. Hidden and otherwise, I reckon our phantom friend could be after just about any of them. I can tell you this much, though. Whatever the thief's got his eyes on, it's got the Sultan's sword and the right thither. I can tell you this much, though. Whatever the thief's got his eyes on, it's got the Sultan's sworn in right thither. Word has it, they've formed a regiment of their best and brightest to safeguard the royal faults from this very threat. The Sultan's sworn aren't like to be forthcoming with information, but it's the only lead we've got. Come on, Celerian, I'd say it's time we paid a visit to the heart of the sworn. Oi, hold up there, Ellie. I ain't generally the worrying type, but you may want to think twice before getting yourself involved in this. A man in my business develops a nose for danger, and this time the stench is something fierce. You're a reporter, Ellie, and a fine one at that. Don't put that pretty neck of yours at risk trying to play a hero. Your concern is touching, but I can assure you that I am ready for whatever dangers lie ahead. Besides, being a reporter is about more than selling papers. I have a duty to seek out the truth and convey it to the people. Come, Celerian, time is of the essence. Speak with Wymond near Sunset Tapestries. Now we need to seek out information at Scholar's Walk, which is over this way. So I'm going to go ahead and teleport to the Alchemist's Guild. And so, right here. Ellie. Where have I seen this man before? He does look familiar, doesn't he? I'm free. Halt! Only authorized personnel are allowed in. This is all bugger me with a broadsword. It's the Gentleman of Light's adventuring companion and that catty but cute reporter from the Mithril Eye. Well, well, if it isn't the self-styled Warrior of Light. Tell me, what tall tales did you spin to the Sultan's sworn recruiter to land yourself in this position? Oh, only the 12's honest truth, miss. Seeing that Gentleman of Light standing tall and triumphant that day, it moved me, to the depths of my soul like. I vowed to put aside my sketchy past and serve the realm just like my hero, Master Hildibrand. The Sultan's sworn were impressed with my commitment and my sword arm, and they gladly welcomed me into their ranks. Wait, don't tell me, you've come to assist Master Hildibrand in his investigation? Haven't you? Carr, why didn't you say so sooner? That's the least I can do to help the two ladies who united me with my role model. I'll be wanting to speak with Phyllis. She is one of the Sworn's best and something of a history buff, it'd seem. When she heard the thief was targeting the 4 relics of Belladia, she personally stepped forward and volunteered to lead the investigation. If anyone has the information you're looking for, it'd be her. Wait here while I get her. I can trust you not to touch anything, A pleasure to meet you, Phyllis. My name is Eli, from the Mithril Eye. As you may have heard, we're researching the Phantom Thief case, and would appreciate any information that may shed light on recent events. The pleasure is mine, Miss Ellie, and if I'm not mistaken, that would make you your companion friend here, one Celebrian Saragon, yes? You know Celebrian? As any regular reader of the Mithril Eye would, I must confess to being something of an unabashed fan of your work. Though it hardly befits my station to say this, I was secretly hoping that you would show up to assist in the investigation. Doubtless the inspector, too, will also welcome a helping hand. The Sultan's sworn, the elite of Ulda's elite. I can only hope that you prove more competent than the bungling mercenaries have dealt with thus far. Inspector Briarden, always one step ahead of us. Miss Eli, Celebrian, a moment if you would. Right there. Very good. Now face me and don't move an elm. Inspector? What is that in your cough? Wheeze. Demasking dust. A formula of my own devising that will allow us to see right through the thief's disguises. Analyzing the mask left behind at Vesper Bay, I was able to identify its composition and synthesize a counter-agent that would dissolve the disguise whilst leaving the wearer's face intact. In any event, it would appear the two of you are indeed who you appear to be. Brilliant, Inspector. The Phantom Thieves pulled the wool over our eyes for the last time. I fear it won't be so simple. The ingredients necessary to produce the dust are exceedingly rare. Even with the entire resources of the Sultansworn at our disposal, we were only able to produce a limited supply. I see. Well, I suppose it's better than nothing. That said, have you been able to identify the thief's next target? A hidden treasure of Ulda, the last of the 4 lost relics of Belladia. I fear not. I have pored through the histories time and again, but the only mention of these 4 relics is a vague reference in an old prophecy. Most serious scholars consider it little more than a fairy tale. When darkness falls and hope fades to despair, 4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. The legend goes on to describe 4 sacred artifacts, one each possessed by these 4 Belladian heroes, but makes no mention as to their appearance or nature. 3 times we have tried to identify the thief's target, and 3 times has he foiled us by making off with something else entirely. Needless speculation will only play to the fiend's strengths. All the artifacts of Belladian origin have been sealed within the royal vault, and a regiment of our finest assigned to its protection. I have furnished all the guards with a supply of demasking dust, and instructed them to be on the lookout for any suspicious personages. The Black Guard will be in chains before he can lay a dirty hand on the vault doors, let alone the treasures within. You have my word, my lady. But there are even more disturbing matters at hand. Doubtless you have heard of the recent rash of murders perpetrated by our quarry? The Sultansworn have launched an investigation, but the truth of the matter is that we have been far too occupied with the defense of the vaults to make any meaningful progress. We would be most grateful for any assistance you could offer. A lady asks and a gentleman answers. Cast all worry from your heart, my lady. Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has arrived to set right what is wrong and bring the wicked to justice. And this must be the demasking dust that is talk of the palace. But you need not waste your supply on me, Inspector. I assure you that I am exactly who I claim to be. A shame. That. Inspector Hildibrand, we were not expecting you, but your services are most welcome. I will share all I know about the recent murders. The killer has claimed 3 victims thus far. The head of a publishing consortium, a high-ranking government official, an influential scholar. Other than that, they were all influential figures in the respective circles. We can identify no common threads connecting the 3. Oh ho, this will prove a most satisfying case to crack indeed. And what of the method of killing? Honked over the head with a cudgel? Gutted with a great sword? Strangled with a sepulchre, mayhap? I am afraid that we've identified no pattern. In any event, the murderer plots the deaths of 2 more even as we speak. We must take action, and quickly. Understood, my lady. Clues may be scarce, but worry not. My realm, renowned powers of deduction are more than up to the task. I will see this burglar turned butcher delivered to justice. Your presence is heartening indeed, Inspector Hildibrand. Friends, please take this demasking dust with you. I fear we can spare but a single sachet, but I trust you will put it to good use. Release. On behalf of the Sultansworn, your assistance with the murder investigation is greatly appreciated. Be the defense of the royal vault to us. Humphrey. A gentleman of light and the flesh. Oh, is he every bit as muscular and majestic as I remember? Ellie. He may have 1,000 faces, but with Inspector Briarden's demasking dust, the masquerade will soon be over. Hildibrand. Come to accompany me on yet another case, friend. I like your gusto, but if you're auditioning to be my assistant, I fear that role has already been filled most ably. Still, a gentleman welcomes the support of all of his admirers. I shall henceforth name you thusly, Celebrian, my ever-loyal associate. Pretty sure that was my name beforehand. And now, my ever-loyal associate, the investigation calls. I propose that we begin by inspecting the site at which the most recent victim met his demise. My questioning about the palace has revealed that the scholar's body was found not far from the 8 sins of Sasamo. Even the most circumspect of criminals cannot help but leave behind clues. Clues that will not elude my gaze. Friends, let us be off. Pray alert me should you see anything suspicious, my ever-loyal associate. We must put Miss Phyllis's demasking dust to good use. And so we need to head over that way. Briardian. Flowers, how intriguing. Hildibrand. Flowers? Yes, it's all becoming clear now. Our phantom killer is a florist who in his hurry to escape, carelessly mislaid his wares. Just what do you think you're doing, eh? Eh? I'm the one who put those flowers there, eh? To honor the memory of me poor boy. You dare defile his memory, eh? Eh? 1,000 pardons, my lady. Please accept my most sincere condolences on your loss. I'm Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire. I swear to you, on my own dear mother's name, that your son's killer will be brought to justice. Ahem. As I was just saying, these flowers were clearly placed here by the family of the deceased, which can only mean... Leave this place! Run away while you still can! Run far! Far away! Why, or he'll turn you into a zombie just like my poor boy! A living person turning into a zombie? Nonsense! Not nonsense, my boy. History! Or have you not heard of the horrors of Sildi? Aye, Ulda's sibling nation, against which we waged war centuries ago. Much blood was shed by both sides, but I speak of far greater horrors than death, an unholy draught brewed by a Sildian alchemist, one with the power to turn the living dead to the living to the undead, that his nation might command an army of mindless, deathless soldiers, the traitors spurn. They turned my poor boy into a heap of rotten flesh and ran him through, but ye won't hear that from the Sultan sworn. Allah only knows why, but they whisked the body away before I could so much as pay my last respects. The traitors spurn. I'd heard the stories, but I never thought them true. To be able to procure such a frightening thing, just who are we dealing with here? A Sildan, I'm sure of it. Aye, only a Sildan would know the recipe. But the last remnants of Silda died 4 centuries ago, you say? Oh, they did. Hee 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 ha ha. She's crazy. You call himself the Phantom Thief, he does, but did it ever occur to you that he might be the honest to God's phantom, eh? Eh? I heard the tales from my own great-great-grandma, I did, about the 4 relics of Belladia and the power they hold, the power to exact justice. The spectre of Silda has returned to wreak vengeance on us. Woe, woe unto us all. Have the 4 warriors of light forsaken us? My dear boy, if only you'd become a traitor like your father. If only you'd kept your nose out of those history books and never so much breathed the accursed name of Silda. But you did, and now you're doomed. Doomed! Doomed! Yeah! Yeah! Ahem. Cuckoo, kabachoo. And yet not completely crazy. That bleeding here somewhere, I can feel it in me follicles. That most potent hair tonic this realm has ever seen? Aye, that it was, for all of a fortnight before my flowing locks fell out all over again. And just as I was chatting up a lovely young lass at the quicksand, just to twist the knife an extra ounce. Mountebank, charlatan, I'll find that so-called inspector in his sorry bin and pull every last strand of hair from their bleeding skulls. Uh-oh. Riordan. Shades from Silda, living men turning to zombies. The old crone's lost not just her son, but her wits as well. Hildibrand. Hildibrand is onto something, or at least he thinks he is. It's all becoming clear to me now. The dear old woman's testimony has confirmed that which I had suspected from the start. Like a zombie picking away at its rotting flesh, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, has peeled away the foul scab of uncertainty to reveal the truth within. Open your ears and feast your minds on the fruits of my flawless deduction. Ahem. Our phantom thief is a phantom indeed, a wayward spirit caught between the realm of the living and the dead for nigh on centuries since meeting a tragic end on the battlefield. As such, our course of action is clear. We must placate this tortured soul, that it might abandon its vengeful vendetta and travel to the next life in peace. But what is the true nature of the spectre's grievances? Without this knowledge, we cannot hope to assuage its rancor. Let us begin our search at the Thaumaturge's Guild. Doubtless the tomes there contain a wealth of knowledge on the ill blood between the sibling nations. Notwithstanding the abject stupidity of everything else that came out of your mouths, some knowledge of Silda might serve us well. Go research as you will, and do take as much time as you need. You can count on me, Inspector Riordan. Whatever knowledge is to be gleaned at the guild, it shall not escape my inspector's eye. Somehow, I think it will. Gather information at the Thaumaturge's Guild. Which is back over there. So back into Ul'dah I go. After I talk to Riordan. I'd be much obliged if you could keep him out of my way, Celebrian. I have some real investigating to do, but I'd prefer to be free of distractions. I'll do my best. No promises, though. And so we need to head over to the Thaumaturge's Guild, which is just over here. And up these steps, and apparently the first one is right here. An echo. Good, gods be good. You're the adventurer who saved me back at the ruins. Researching the ancient feud between Ul'dah and Silda, are you? Why, I am pleased to say I have more than a passing familiarity with ancient history. To understand the history of the sibling nations, one must go further still to the birth of the mother nation, Beladia. The Fifth Astral Era was an age of untold wonders, when the arcane arts burgeoned and the great civilizations that commanded such powers flourished. This age of enlightenment would not last, however. Power bred avarice, and avarice bred resentment. It culminated in the War of the Magi, which brought the great floods of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, which in turn swallowed once proud nations and left a battered wasteland in its wake. Mages were reviled and persecuted for having caused this catastrophe, with many forced to leave their homelands or face death. It was a small band of those survivors that found their way to Thanalan, where they would found the nation of Beladia some 8 centuries agone. Ah, imagine, a government of mages, by mages, and for mages. What wonders might have been wrought had Beladian civilization survived to this very day. Alas, this was not to be. And next we need to speak with Erasmus here. You don't say. It's not every day someone comes to our halls to research Sildi. As a fellow student of history, though, I more than welcome the conversation. Beladian civilization flourished in relative peace until twins' sons were born to the royal family. The two were fierce rivals, and when they came of age and their father passed, each one claimed that he was the rightful heir to the throne. With neither son willing to relinquish his claim, they agreed to split their kingdom in two, forming the twin nations of Ul'dah and Sildi. But not unlike the two proud princes, the sibling nations developed a penchant for rivalry. Surprising me, not one bit. Aya Roku. Greetings, traveler. You would learn of the war between Ul'dah and the fallen Sultanate of Sildi? It would be my pleasure to enlighten you. The two city-states coexisted for several generations until the bad blood between them boiled over, culminating in outright war. As you might deduce from the present state of affairs, Ul'dah emerged victorious, leaving its once proud sibling nations in smoldering ruins. As the histories tell it, the battles fought between the sister nations were the stuff of nightmares. In a desperate attempt to overcome Ul'dah's superior numbers, Sildan alchemists devised a most horrific stratagem, employing a frightful formula known as the traitor spurn. They brought their fallen warriors back as undead soldiers. Some theories have it that they even employed the potion on those of the living who were too weak or wounded to fight. Send shivers up the spine just thinking about it, no? It is truly a crowning glory of our fair nation that our forebears were able to emerge victorious against these horrors. Celebrian, don't surprise me like that. What's up? You're here not for your studies, but to learn of the bad blood between Ul'dah and Sildi? Two scales, one of gold and one of silver. The gold of Ul'dah weighing prosperity and power, the silver of Sildi weighing knowledge and power. While the power sought by the two nations differed greatly. Yes, greatly indeed. The power wrought by Ul'dah prosperity was that of justice and good, while the power wrought by Sildan knowledge was horrific beyond belief. The power to rip the living soul out of a man and render him a mindless killing machine. On this matter, the histories are clear. But riddle me this, my friend. Who writes the histories, and what does this say of the words written within? Yes, truth can be elusive and fickle as the shifty sands. As one example, did you know that in the war against Sildi, Ul'dah and Almajah warriors fought side by side? Likely you did not, and neither did I until I encountered a faded passage in an ancient text buried deep in our archives. And yet, in the histories read by the populace, you will see no mention of this most fascinating fact. Might it be that someone at some time deemed this particular truth less than convenient? But I have said enough already. And now we need to speak with Hildibrand, who is apparently over there, and I either didn't notice him or he wasn't actually there before. Hildibrand. My ever-loyal associate, tell me, what have you learned from your questioning of the scholars in these halls? Indeed. As it happens, I have learned much the same. Let us take a moment to review and allow my peerless powers of deduction to work their magic. The War of Succession divides the great civilization of Belladia, giving rise to the sibling nations of Ul'dah and Sildi. The two nations coexist for some generations until ill blood boils over, culminating in outright war. Daunted by Ul'dah's superior military might, Sildi employs their advanced alchemical knowledge to horrific ends, transforming their own citizens, alive and dead, into a fearsome undead legion. Yes, I believe I have it. The facts at hand have led me to one unassailable conclusion. Our phantom thief is a descendant of doomed Sildi who seeks vengeance against those who reduced his countrymen to slavering zombies. To pacify his soul and send him peacefully to the next world, there is but one course of action. We must find the Sildi statesman who conceived this dreadful stratagem and have him apologize to the thief in person for the suffering he has wrought. A brilliant plan. Perhaps you'd like to go find yourself a shovel and dig this statesman out of his grave yourself? Leaving aside this nonsense of spirits and specters, it appears increasingly likely that our quarry shares some link to Sildi. His garish garb is no doubt meant to evoke the silver scales of the fallen sultanate. This Sildi connection would also serve to explain the rare knowledge of Belladian art relics our thief clearly possesses. But what of the murder victims? What common thread amongst them could have incurred the ire of our adversary? A few people in town spoke of a man sighted calling upon the victims in the past days. Those who saw him said he had a most frightening air about him. Wait, yes, it's coming to me. Of course. My keen investigator senses ring out with a voice loud and clear. This man Miss Ellie speaks of just might know something. No, really. You really should stop thinking so hard. You're like to strain a brain muscle. Miss Ellie, who is this man and where might we find him? My sources identified the man as Guguria, a traveling merchant known to frequent Horizon. Shall we pay him a visit? And so we need to head over to the Horizon, so I'm going to go ahead and teleport there. And they are over here. Hildibrand. My keen instinct tells me that Master Guguruya's testimony will be key to a monumental breakthrough in our investigation. Yes, I shall employ the ancient Manderville art of parley to skillfully extract the information we require. Guguria. Yes? If you got business, make it quick. My time's too valuable to waste chatting with every stranger who passes by. Forgive us, good sir. My name is Ellie, reporter with the Mithril Eye. Never blinking, all-seeing, you know the rest. I was wondering if you could trouble us with just a few questions. Was it for love or money that you killed them? Yes, you, the thief of many faces. Me? A thief? What is this nonsense? I don't know who you are, but I ain't got the time or patience for this mummery. Now if you excuse me, an important client waits. I thought I recognized that voice. Lady Duralda. Well met indeed. Pray tell, whatever brings you to these environs this day? Well, why, I live here, you ham-headed half-wit. Inspector Briarden, this is an unexpected pleasure. Do you have some business with my associate here? Pray tell? Guguria, we can't discuss business after all. Pray lend the inspector here, the handsome one, whatever assistance he requires. But Lady Duralda, what about... Ah yes, my dear, Maria's name day present. I had in mind one of the prized pieces from the Ishtam's latest seasonal collection. You would be able to procure one for me, yes? Or shall I eliminate the middleman and make the trip to Ul'dah myself? I'll say it just once more, Guguria. I expect you to give the inspector and his companions your full assistance. They, yes, even the stupid one, helped me regain something truly priceless. Yes, something more valuable than any mere trinket. Alright, I'll tell you what I know, but you didn't hear it from me, got it? I was looking into killing on behalf of a client of mine. The thief's got himself some of that zombie dust, the traitor Spurn, was it? When his cards speak of 5 victims, it got me to thinking. Sildy? 5 victims? Aye, the Arbiters of Truth. The Arbiters of Truth? I'm not familiar with the name. Aye, few would be, on account of them being something of a secret society and all. Influential personages of the Sultanate, you see, working from the shadows to keep false knowledge from the Ul'dah-Sildi conflict from reaching the ears of folk like you and me. False knowledge? Pray tell, just what sort of knowledge might that be? Those balls, don't make me say no more. I've got a family to feed. Very well, I'll just tell us one last thing. Who hired you and where can we find him? Hob. His name's Hob. When he heard what I said, he told me that he was going to set sail for Limsa with his 5 best sellsword to guard his back. Said were more prying eyes at the airship docks. Said he had a private ship docked and waiting for him at Vesper Bay. But remember, you didn't hear none of this from me. This man Hob must be one of the killer's targets. Doubtless he also knows the identity of the remaining one. I doubt that. They say the Arbiters are so secretive they don't even know each other's true identities. Don't ask me how that all works, but... Hob's got high-ranking friends in the Brass Blades. Once he heard the victims had been all zombified, he panicked. Guess he knew that he'd be next. Thank you very much, my kind sir. Once again, the ancient Manderville art of parley has procured for us a key morsel of knowledge. Let us seek out this Hob fellow and see what he can share with us. And let us hurry. A man's life is in danger even as we speak. Hildibrand. I would hear what this Hob fellow has to say. Come, my ever-loyal associate, let us away to Vesper Bay with all speed. And so we need to head over there. Master Hob, is everything quite alright? No, stand back, Ellie! Egad! Hunger! I hunger for your brains! Darn, there's no saving the man. Celebrity, do what you must. Yes, my first-hand knowledge of zombies tells me this particular shade of green is unmistakable that of the undead. It would seem we were a few moments late to the scene. A message, and then there was one. There it is again. Is something the matter, Inspector? Indeed, Nashu, there is. Ever since I picked up the trail of the Phantom Thief, I've had this fleeting sense that someone, or something, is watching us. The thief might be close at hand. We should be careful. For the moment, let us return and report our findings to Miss Phyllis. Secret society knows, knowing the identities of its members may yet lead us to the final victim. I too had best return to the Mithril Eye. Let's meet up again after... I'll see what new clues I can uncover in the meantime. You will do nothing of the sort, Miss Ellie. These streets are far too dangerous for you to walk alone. Inspector! Inspector! I'll go with her. If you insist, Nashu, then I give my leave. But pray be wary, not just of the thief, but of Miss Ellie. She has quite the temper, as we both know. Miss Ellie, there is something I must tell you when the case is over. Be safe and promise me that you will not attempt anything rash, as you did that time when the fiend took aim at my own life. Your life, Oh, at Casa del Sol. Yes, that was quite the ordeal, wasn't it? I'll be careful, I promise. I eagerly await the day when I might hear what it is you would share with me. A secret vow? Ho ho! Consider my interest piqued as well, good Inspector. Now let us be off. Miss Phyllis awaits our report. And so, back to reports. In Ulda. Hildibrand. The news of Hob's death will not sit well with Miss Phyllis, but a gentleman must do what a gentleman must do. Humphrey. Some shifty-looking fellow was eyeing the vaults before, but he took off faster than the fleeing cactar as soon as my gaze met his. Aye, just like a cow, many a garlean on the plains. Oh, it's you. Phyllis. A fourth victim? Thou have mercy. Were you able to glean aught of a connection to the other victims? The arbiters of truth? No, it cannot be. Somebody help! Miss Ellie? The voice came from the direction of the vault. You must hurry. Miss Ellie, are you hurt? That man, only thought to ask him a few questions before I knew what was happening was upon me. I could only... bash his brains with a conveniently placed bottle of mead? Would seem... Haha, remind me not to get on your bad side, Miss Ellie. That said, is Nashu not with you? She saw a figure lurking in the shadows and went off in pursuit, before I could stop her. This man wears the armor of a sultan-sworn squire, yet his face is unfamiliar to me. Something is amiss. The thief of many faces? To think we would find our man like this! Thrice again did the fiend elude or grasp, but no more. By virtue of a gentleman's ingenious deductions and lady's pugilistic puissance, I declare the case closed. I return the sachet to you, Miss Phyllis. Whilst the gesture was appreciated, in the end it proved superfluous to my cracking of the case. While you're at it, is there anything else of immense value that you'd like to wantonly destroy? What is the meaning of this? Ingenious, a double disguise, planted by the thief to throw us off his trail, no doubt. This is Gyugi, one of my most capable men. I assigned him to guard the vault and outfitted him with an ample supply of demasking dust. It is inconceivable that the thief could so easily elude his grasp. Unless the thief was not wearing a mask? Speaking of which, has anyone seen Miss Ellie? No! That's impossible! Of course, it all makes perfect sense. With the Phantom Thief to thank for her burgeoning readership and rise through the ranks at the Mithril Eye, Miss Ellie could not bear to face the possibility of her story of a lifetime coming to an end. Thus she hatched a plan to... My lady! The vault has been breached. The wise man's whisper is gone. For her foul cries against the Sultanate, I hereby declare Eleazar of the Mithril Eye, the thief of many faces, an enemy of the state. Deploy all troops and do not rest until she is in custody. And now the game is truly afoot. Bah! What is the meaning of all this racket and rumpus? And just as we were about to make our triumphant return. Isn't that so, Enkidu? Miss Allie! Miss Allie! The shadow you said you saw? I think it was just a dormouse. To think he'd literally stumble face first onto the second mask. His good fortune truly knows no end. But not to worry. Yes, I dare say the Phantom Thief has another trick or two up his sleeve. Dun dun dun! And of course, we clearly know that Nashu is not Nashu. Right then. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable. Felice, how could we have been so blind? Hildibrand, not even the shockingest turn of events will deter the famed agent of inquiry. My ever-loyal associate, we must find Miss Ellie and quickly. Surely if confronted by her constant companions, she can still be convinced to abandon this fool plan. Oh, Miss Felice, I thought you had already departed in the company of your men, but all for the better. Shall we conduct a search together? I fear that would only put them at greater risk. You see, the fifth and final member of the Arbiters of Truth, the Phantom Thief's final target, is none other than... Hildibrand Me, mind you, it's not a role I sought of my own accord. My name and my passion for history are somewhat well known in the Sultanate. One day I received an anonymous letter stating that a position the committee had opened and I had been chosen to fill it. The letter went on to enumerate my duties, to prevent the spread of historical lies that would sully the name of the illustrious nation. As a high-ranking officer in the Sultansworn, I was deemed to be in a particularly unique position to serve as an arbiter. I knew that there were other members of the organization, but was told nothing of their names or identities. To think that my unknown compatriots were the victims all along. I cannot put any more lives in danger. I will sequester myself in a place where my presence can cause no harm, until such time as the killer is apprehended. Your concern for our well-being is most touching, Miss Phillies, but there is no need for such caution. As a seasoned inspector, I am more than capable of protecting a lady in distress, and as a gentleman, that is exactly what I shall do. My associates here also stand at your side. Speaking of which, has anyone seen my loyal assistant? Inspector, over here! Ah, there you are, Nashu. You really shouldn't run off on your own like that. I was worried sick about you. I'm sorry, Inspector. Miss Ellie said she saw somebody in the shadows, so I went to take a look. Now, there wasn't anything there but a dormouse. But it was a really cute dormouse, you see. Just kept squeaking and scurrying away, and I just... Pardon me for a moment, Nashu. Yes, my inspector senses speaks to me. Someone is watching us. Celebrian, let us split up and canvass our surroundings. Release. I cannot allow my presence to put my men in danger. Riordan. Apologies, Celebrian, but I require a moment alone with my thoughts. Nashu. Where's Miss Ellie? Do you think she went looking for the dormouse too? And so we need to head over here. And water-stained letter. A water-stained letter lies conspicuously on the floor. Be wary and be warned. And so we need to head around here. Water-stained letter. A water-stained letter lies conspicuously on the floor. Trust no one and your friends all the less. And once more. Down here and around the corner. Water-stained letter. Water-stained letter lies conspicuously on the floor. This will avail you well. Use it wisely. You obtain a satchel of damasking dust. In the next instant you feel an intimidating presence behind you. Hello, Hildibrand. Oh, Godbert, that's the name. Oh, if it isn't my beloved son's staunch companion, the mighty Celebrian. I was in the area on a matter of business, which I curtailed when I felt a suspicious presence from the shadows. Pursuing it led me here. My habit is the same for you? Sort of. Oh, so your pursuit of the thief of many faces has taken quite the unexpected turn, and now you have come upon a series of anonymous letters. Mayhap your watcher in the shadows is a friend, or is there but another trap laid by the fiend? Yes, the plot thickens like a dollop of salamander oil. In either event, I dare say the circumstances call for utmost caution. The thief could be anywhere, or anyone, myself included, of course. No mere mask could replicate the physique of this Manderville man. That said, I fear my dear Hildy might be a bit over his head this time. Allow me to assist in your investigation. Were anything to happen to Hildibrand, his dear mother would, not be pleased. And so we go back over there and speak with Godbert. Something just isn't right. Didn't we see you looking before? Somewhere. In the background of the bald guy. Police. Blah 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 blah. Okay, Godbert. If the sender speaks true, the villain even now lurks within our midst. And yet we have but a single sachet of damasking dust at our disposal. We must identify the impostor beyond reasonable doubt before we proceed. You know the players better than I, Celebrian. What say you have a few words with each of them and see if aught seems amiss? Elise. Am I doomed to share the same fate as the others? I'd sooner die than become one of those things. Riordan. Miss Ellie is the phantom thief. It is the only logical conclusion, and yet I cannot help but feel like another truth still evades us. Nashu. Inspector Riordan told me all about it. I would have thought Miss Ellie was the phantom thief all this time. She sure fooled me. Godbert. Nothing particularly odd about any of them, you say? It stands to reason. The fiend would not take such a risk if he were not utterly confident that he would pull off a ruse. Curses! This one's not half the fool his son is. We must elude him, and quickly. Time is of the essence. I question the Sultan's one outside. To a man, they insist that they have seen naught of Miss Ellie. Wherever could she have gone? Father, what brings you here? Yes, finally, the pieces are coming together. Now if you would kindly stand still and shut up, the fiend already stands among us. Inspector Briarden, I would hope you are not doubting me. Or, I should hope you're not doubting me. While I'm quite convinced that even a master impersonator would struggle to recreate your particular brand of idiocy, the fact remains that anyone here who has spent even a moment alone must be considered a suspect. The thief has proven to be highly efficient at assuming new identities. An astute observation, my gangly friend. I'd say this occasion calls for a dose of 2 of that powder celebrating here found earlier. There wouldn't happen to be another sachet or 2 lying about, would there? What remains of her supply has already been distributed to the search party, but worry not, they should be reporting back within a bell's time. There might be against me. Time might be against me, but just you watch. I'll wiggle my way out of this and turn you into the reeking, drooling corpse you deserve to be. I fear that is more time than we can afford, Miss Felice. Fortunately, my powers of deduction will lay the fiend's face bare within minutes. We know that given the choice, the thief prefers to impersonate familiar personages. As Miss Ellie has only passing interactions with my dear father, we can safely eliminate him from consideration. That leaves myself, Nashu, and Celebrian here. Nashu and I in particular have had a close and extended relationship with our suspect. I shall begin by questioning mine own assistant. I assure you that none know her better than I. Brilliant reasoning as ever, Inspector. Go on, ask me anything. Of all the times for this overstuffed buffoon to start talking sense, he asks me anything too obscure, my cover is good as blown. My relationship with Nashu is so close, I dare say at times it is as if we share a mind. If this Nashu is truly my ever-loyal assistant, she would have no trouble completing my thoughts. Ahem! I'm a Manderville man. Doing what only a Manderville can. From the peaks of the Corthus to Thanalin, Manderville. Man, you're the best, Inspector! A perfect score. You may rest assured, dear friends, this is unmistakably, unequivocally, indubitably the true Nashu. I've never loved you more than now, you marvelous muttonhead, you! Nashu, is something the matter? Just because you picked a few more wrinkles beneath the eyes, there's no need to avert the charming face of yours. Wrinkles? Wrinkles? Look who's talking, you crusty, crushiness old... genius inspector? Busted. The charade is up, Miss Ellie. Miss Ellie, you look somehow different. Hildibrand. My prodigious powers of deduction scream out to me. This woman knows something. No, really. Briarden. Another 2-layered mask, mayhap, but no, this woman bears a striking resemblance to Miss Ellie. Felice. It was all but certain that Ellie was her thief. What is the meaning of this? Godbert. So the letter spoke true. The fiend was in our midst all along. Hurrian woman. Who is the unfamiliar woman, and what secrets does she behold? Or hold, whatever. 7 hells, done in by a muscle-bound muttonhead and his motley troop of mumbers. Just who are you? Your resemblance to Miss Ellie is most uncanny, and yet... Consulting Inspector Briarden, once again you failed to measure up to your lofty reputation. Of course we resemble each other. Ellie is, after all, my own flesh and blood, a beloved sister, and my eminently capable partner in crime. 1,000 faces I may wear, but only one name do I bear. You can call me Ceci. Charmed, I'm sure. Are you quite all right? Why, you look as if you've seen a ghost. Despite my moniker, I assure you that Ellie and I are no specters. What we are, mind you, are the last living scions of Syldian aristocracy. Bemused, are you? Befuddled to find 2 sisters behind the mask? Try using your brains once in a while. Every time you encountered the thief, Ellie was standing right in your midst. No, the thief the 4 times stole the show. Oh, and those priceless relics was me. Meanwhile, Ellie hid in plain sight, supplying me with just the knowledge I needed to stay one step ahead of my pursuers, all while spinning the hair-raising tales of my exploits that won the hearts of this nation. We owe a lot to you, truly. Why, without the tales of your hapless attempts to catch me, we never would have risen to these heights of celebrity. Miss Ceci, from a gentleman to a lady, I would ask you one thing and one thing only. Just what is it that you and Miss Ellie hope to accomplish with all of your schemes? Justice! 400 years ago, Uldon dogs reduced our great nation to a nation of zombies. At long last, the cowards that would still justify these foul deeds will suffer the same fate. Wait, the histories say that it was Sildi that turned their own men into zombies. The histories lie, and you work from the shadows, silencing those who would speak the truth. You should have died with your fellow false arbiter. It was Ulda that ordered the creation of the dreadful powder and wielded it as a weapon against our proud ancestors. The history of your glorious sultanate is built on a lie. What is the madness you speak, woman? Not madness, truth. The powder in my possession was stolen from the Uldan army 4 centuries ago by one of my ancestors. They say it was his final act of courage in the moments before his leg fell off and his rotting head dropped from his shoulders. This is the truth that the histories don't tell. The truth that this doe-eyed sultansworn would kill to keep buried deep in the sands of Thanalin. But your time of reckoning is nigh. Oh yes, before long you, and everyone in this rotten nation will know firsthand the horrors of my ancestors knew. Ha 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 ha! And just what do you mean by that? Oh, how the idiots lap up the stories. A masked crusader for justice, a dashing rebel waging battle against power and authority. Oh, if only they knew. But they will see soon enough, when they are eating each other's brains out on the streets. In the last days before our proud nation was razed to the ground, a band of the final survivors stole a vast quantity of the powder from the Uldon vaults, hiding it away in a secret vault sealed with powerful magics. The sole means by which the vault may be opened, by assembling 4 secret relics from Belladia, 4 relics once housed in the royal palace of Sildi, before Uldon dogs stole them and claimed them for their own. And so it dawns upon you at last. Yes, even as we speak, Ellie makes for the vault, the 4 relics safely in hand. Just think, one day you'll be able to tell your grandchildren you were there when zombie powder rained down on Ulda. Now wait, you'll all be dead. Ha 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 ha! Preposterous! But first, you, my dear, you will not even have the pleasure of looking upon the last moments of your precious homeland. Let your flesh rot like all of your rotten lies. I think not, Miss Ceci. Hildibrand! You idiot! idiot! Just for once, could you not get in the way? Godbert Manderville, I can't even trust your sorry arse to look after him for a day! I knew it! That presence watching over us from the shadows. It was you, my dear wife. Ahem. Am I to understand that you're Hildibrand's mother? Aye, that is more like it. Hand to hand, skillet to skillet. That's enough to send a warrior's pulse racing. Prepare yourself, Celebrin. The time of our final confrontation is nigh. Do ye have popatos for brains, you overstuffed buffoon? My beloved boy's been turned into a stinking corpse, if ye hadn't bloody noticed. You, Celebrine or something, was it? Hildy's told me all about your hijinks together. Pleased to meet ye. My dear boy has always had a bit of a rebellious streak. What can I say? I can come on a bit too strong at times. You don't say. But can you blame me? This time I thought I'd sit back and leave things to my sorry arse husband here, and look what they got me. You'll help me out, won't you? Do I have a choice? Elise. Inspector Hildibrand's mother? Briarden. I dare say it's quite clear who wears the pants in the family, so to speak. Juliane. Reunited with my dear boy for the first time in ages, and just look at him. He's green. Fortunately, there's still time to reverse the zombie curse, and I know just the remedy. A phial of holy water. The ingredients are simple. A tatter of oversold rags and a phial of twice distilled water. Syndicat at the market stocks the former, and the latter you can procure from a trader by the name of Jest. Now hurry! Once the poison spreads through his veins, no antidote will save him. In the meantime, I will search for the bumbler's bumbling assistant. With any luck, Miss Nashu is still alive. Ouch, that's smart. Ye gads, Hildy. You're looking none too hearty yourself. No thanks to you, you bumbling oaf. Now are ya gonna accompany Celebrine here and make yourself useful? Or do I have to reintroduce you to the wall? But of course, milady. Gilgamesh is ever at your service. Syndicat Sundries, was it? Come now, Celebrine. There's work to be done. Nice. And she says the same thing. A piece of oversold rags from Syndigat's sundries and a bottle of twice distilled water from the trader Just. Now hurry, darn it! My dear brother's life is... my dear boy's son. Life is at... whatever. What did she say? My dear boy's life is at stake. And so we need to head over there. And obviously Enkidu and George has already beaten us to Swindgat, so Swindgat. Oversold rags, you say? I fear that I've only a single tatter left in stock, and it's already been spoken for. But my good man, you must reconsider. My dear friend's life, and quite possibly mine own as well, hangs in the balance. I sympathize with your plight, friend, but a man has to make a living. I've been promised a copious supply of rare chimera membrane for these rags. Unless you can offer me the same, no deal. Gah, and you expect us to be able to summon such a rarity out of nowhere at a moment's notice? Well, look what we have here, if it isn't the Warrior of Light from the Colosseum. Funny who you meet at the markets. As it happens, I just returned from my training, and the slaying of 10 chimeras just happened to be my task for the day. If it's chimera membrane you seek, you're more than welcome to share. My lady, you are far too kind. Don't mention it. If it hadn't been for Inspector Hildibrand and Celebrian here, I'd still be tag-teaming with that slimy beast and cheating my way to fame and fortune. And I'm a woman who pays her debts. That'll take me if that wasn't Avila the Tempest. Ever since she confessed to her trickery and started climbing back up from the bottom of the ranks, I've been proud to call myself one of her biggest fans. Why, I've half a mind to give you the rags you seek simply for the privilege of meeting her. A kind sentiment, my good man, but we are more than happy to uphold our side of the bargain, aren't we, Celebrian? And with this, our task here is done. Now let us find this traitor named Just. And so, apparently, we need to go over there. Just. The blundering Manderville boy is on his last legs and needs something of a mind to save him, you say? Humph. Perhaps you could give me a good reason why I should care. Those bloody Mandervilles are richer than the traders themselves, but they have the audacity to haggle me down to the last gill for every purchase. If the family line ended today, I'd be a happier and wealthy man. And now I believe that the ballroom calls. Good day to you, and do pass along my condolences to the grieving parents. Have you not a shred of honor or compassion in that spindly body? Business rival or no, a man is on death's doorstep. After the events of the day, my father will not so easily forgive and forget. But it matters not to me. No, my love for you is as deep as the seven seas. I beg of you, milady, may I have this dance? Celebrian, what a lovely surprise! Are you here for the ball, perchance? Heavens, the poor inspector! Well, if it isn't the Lapis Maiden and the Clash, what say you bid farewell to the preening fops and scruffy adventurers and share a dance with a cultured gentleman befitting your great beauty? Why, it would be a pleasure and an honor both, my lord. Provided you first provide my good friend Celebrian with the bottle of twice distilled water that she seeks. You know this woman? Bah! If that is the price you would set, then so be it. Take it. It's barely worth its weight in gil anyway. Now shall we, Miss Arabella? Hildy to be a worthy rival, but to think he was this beloved by so many. Clearly this realm would deeply mourn his loss. Quickly, Celebrian, let us deliver these goods while there is still time to save him. And yet it was more so the interactions of me that saved him. Or got the items. Sort of. Well, in combination, me and Hildibrand, but anyway. Julian. Or Julian. Julian. We'll call her Julian. I trust the two of you wouldn't dare to come back empty-handed. Oversoul's rags, tattered cloth taken from the raiment of a powerful wraith. Twice distilled water. A second pass through an alembic has removed nearly all of the impurities once contained in this water. Bloody brilliant! I'd take you over my muscle-headed half-wit of a husband any day. Now, stand back and let me show you some real Manderville home cooking. Oh, you bloody bugger, guide my skillet! Aye, that should stop its spread. Now it's up to Hildy to flush what's left out of his system. Don't worry, he's my son after all. I reckon he's still got some fight left in him. Look who I found. She was slumbering obliviously in a rubbish-strewn corner of Pearl Lane. Boy, did that nap feel good! Yes, I'm sure it did. Celebran, word has it that Ellie has been sighted at the Sildian ruins. We must go there with all haste. You've done well by my dear boy today. Don't worry, I'll handle things from here. There's a nice warm bed for him, and I think I know a few specialists who might know a thing or two about his condition. What the seven hells are you standing around for? The future of Ulda is at stake. Apparently we just need to all nod our heads first. Celebrian, my strength is yours as well, for Ulda, and for our friend Hildy. You remind me of my husband, what with ya having more muscles than sense. If you're so keen on making yourself useful, why don't you run to the markets and bring me some fire crystals? Keeping my dear boy warm is key to fighting off the zombification. Let's see, I believe 20 crates or so should suffice. I'm not a I'm a warrior, not a yes, milady. As I stammer through his stammering. I say, Enkidu, the burden we must bear simply to secure my long-awaited final confrontation with Celebrian. That said, the events of today have given me cause to reflect. Celebrian and Hildy both. Oh, to be blessed with such veritable legions of friends, tried and true. But alas, not I. No, only one true friend have I ever known, and she is long lost to me. You are a fine bird, and have given me quite comfort on my travels, but you will never be Enkidu, my one and true companion. Oh, my friend, were you here with me, you and Celebrian could not stand against our combined might. O Enkidu, wherever you may wander, hear my words and return here to my side. Enkidu, do you hear me? Enkidu! And if you guys can guess, there's crystals there. Egads, what was that flash from the heavens? It nearly blinded me. And what? The crystals! Where have they gone? As I said, and guess what happens? Fancy meeting you here, old friend. That voice! Could it be? My faithful companion, why must you always make me wait so? Yep, you guessed it. Julian. It's a wind-up gentleman. If Clockwork Hildibrand doesn't quite roll off the tongue, both Minion and Inquiry and Manmit Extraordinaire are acceptable alternatives. Use item to acquire the wind-up gentleman minion. And we also get a Manderville coatee and a Manderville bottoms. And most gentlemanly emote, whatever. Julian would send you on your way. What are you doing dilly-dallying around here? Let me jog your memory. There's a moon-sick maid digging around at the Sildy excavation site with her mind set on turning Ulda into the land of the walking dead. Your concern for Hildy is most touching, but don't you worry. Mommy Dearest isn't going to let her beloved son kick the bucket that easily. Am I gonna bite my head off if I say something? Nope, you're just gonna say the same thing. Okay. So we need to head over there. So I'm gonna teleport to the Black Rush station. And then I'll jump onto my mount and head over that direction. Release. We've managed to track down Miss Ellie just up ahead, where your friends watch over her as we speak. Yet no matter how many times we try to reach out to her, she refuses to so much as answer. Needless to say, we considered physically incapacitating her, but the crate she's sitting on isn't just a makeshift chair. It's filled to the brim with the trader's spurn. One misstep and the consequence could be dire indeed. Here, you are our only hope, Celebrian. Even in her single-minded rage, surely the time you spent together must still count for something. You need not put yourself in undue danger. I only ask that you step forth to where your voice may be heard and call out your friend's name. I beg of you, Celebrian, surely if anyone convinced the woman to abandon her madness, it's you. It is you. With the chat mode in Say, use your keyboard or the software keyboard to call out Ellie, and convince your erstwhile friend and companion to listen to reason. And apparently that's over here. Yep, over here. I'm guessing she's somewhere over there in cutscene mode. Gilgamesh. Oh ho, to think this girl and her sister were behind the crimes all along. I dare say this realm is awash with capable adversaries. Nashu. Miss Ellie, Sniff, I thought we were friends. Godbert, not Midgard's armor, Godbert. You do well not to anchor the last friend. She's sitting atop an ample supply of that zombie powder, and I suspect she's not afraid to use it. Barden. It beggars belief that I could have been so blind. With the chat, So, in Say, Ellie. Celebrian, I suggest that you leave this place while you still can. I bear you no grudge, but should you so much as think of interfering, I'll not hesitate to turn you into a zombie too. So it was you after all. Consider me disappointed. Your sister Ceci is already in custody. Surrender now and I will see that no harm befalls her. How little you understand us, Inspector. Then again, how could one born into a life of power and privilege ever hope to understand? Ceci and I have no family, no friends, no fortune, nothing. Two sisters against the world with only our quest for justice to give us meaning. Long ago we made a vow. Should the worst happen, our mission takes priority over all. Yes, over our own wretched lives. Do you see now? Anything I might have once had to lose, I lost long ago. Now stand down or suffer the same fate as the olden dogs you would defend. Ellie, stop this madness! I'm sorry, Inspector. Uh-oh. There's too many of them. And they're very disturbing and creepy, and I don't like zombies. Oh, he just powered up. Or powered down. Oh, and today's work for a Manderville man! And I missed what he said because I was too busy blobbering. Just realized that it reminds me of Kingdom Hearts Keyblades. You only delay the inevitable. I have an entire legion of the undead at my beck and call. Face it, it's only with Inspector Hildibrand's ridiculously good fortune that you even made it this far. He's as good as 6 falls under. Be forewarned, girl, now that I speak from experience when I say, underestimate Hildy and you do so at your own peril. I'm afraid you underestimate me as well. No mere splash of holy water can stave off the effects of the traitors' spurn. I fear the good inspector's luck has finally run out. Those balls, is there no end to them? I'm not liking our chances. Greg, was it? I like how he responds to Greg. It's a shame to lose you, Celebrian, warrior of light that you are. You may yet have served one last purpose for us. Go forth, my zombie minions! Darkness falls and hope fades to despair. 4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. Bugger me with the broadsword. Are my eyes to be believed? The pose. No, these are not 4 warriors of light, what I see. They are 4 gentlemen of light. Just so, my good man. Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has made his triumphant return. Did you miss me? Aye, we meet again, girl. Tell me you've got my snurble tonic, or I'll fashion myself a wig from your lovely locks after I ripped them clean from your bloody head. Well, that was pleasant. Oh, hello there, Mr. Eleazar. Car, you were looking absolutely resplendent today. Impossible! The holy water couldn't have cured him! It didn't. Fortunately, our overlord spent quite some time building up an immunity to zombie powder. When we heard that Master Zombiebrand was at risk of joining the actual dead, we knew we had to take action. An immunity to? I'm just gonna pretend that makes any kind of sense. Are they gonna start dancing? The game is up, Miss Ellie. Pray abandon this madness. Besides, plots of massive murder hardly suit a lady like yourself. It's over. It's all over. Inspector Briarden, you said there was something you would tell me when it all was through. Imagine you have no words for me now. Ellie, your powers of deduction are wanting. You said that you had lost everything and everyone you had to lose, did you not? As for me, I have found something. Someone with whom I intend never to part. I care not if it takes years or even decades. When you emerge from your gall, cell a free woman, I will be there. What say you? That I'm a dinglehopper? And I was too blind with my vengeance that I couldn't see and live life? Miss Ellie, while the crimes perpetrated by you and your sister are unpardonable, you are far from the only ones guilty. On behalf of the Syndicate, I offer my apologies for the false aspersions cast upon your ancestors. You said that the nation of Ulda was built on lies. Seeing what I have seen today, I cannot deny your words. It will not be an easy task to rewrite, nay, restore history, but know this, I will do everything in my power to bring the truth to the fore. Ahem. Are we not forgetting someone here? And by someone, I mean me? If you're quite done playing Cloak and Dagger, I require Celebrian's presence for a matter of far greater importance. Aye, the time of our too long delayed confrontation is nigh. Again? Why the long face, friend? But mayhap this will have you singing a happier tune. Could it be? The Treaty Blade? And the true one at that? It's a nice sword, too. None other, and I have not the slightest intention of parting with it, save to the one who could defeat me in single combat. But I misspeak. It will not be single combat this time. Is that my cue, old friend? Be merciful. What is that abomination? Some new breed of void scent? Abomination? I'll thank you to address my companion with courtesy, girl. But 'twas the most curious thing. There I was, hauling a crate full of crystals for Hildy's mother, and thinking how much better things would be if my dear friend Enkidu were here. Then came a flash from the heavens, and the next thing I knew, there she was. By the gods, it makes perfect sense. Doubtless the crystals heard of Greg's heartfelt plea, summoning forth his friend. Nay, no mere friend, but rather the primal Enkidu. And the world has now completely and utterly ceased to be bound by the laws of logic. Celebrian, you may have bested me in the past, but facing the two of us together will not prove so easy a task. And yet, I trust you will not shirk from the challenge. I, Enkidu, and I shall await you at Amdapur Keep. Tis a ways from here, but what better venue for a climactic confrontation? If you would claim the Treaty Blade, then claim it from me as a warrior. To the skies, Enkidu! To the skies! Two against one? That's not very gentlemanly of you, Grey. Come, Celebrian, to Amdapur! I guess we're headed to Amdapur Keep. This is a grave development indeed. To think that man could summon a primal on his own. I would send word to the Scions at once. Hi. Hi. I usually deal with them anyway. Oh, but of course, I had never near forgotten you had a warrior of light in our very midst. Please, Hildibrand, you are our only hope to slay the primal and reclaim the blade. Though my priority will probably be to slay the primal, not the blade. Save, whatever, forget it. All's well that ends well, Celebrian. Hildy's undead acquaintances were kind enough to make an appearance at my request. Who'd have thought zombies could be such gentlemen? I reckon it must be my son's good influence. Advert. Ho ho ho! I knew that if anything could bring Hildy back from the undead, it would be my dear wife's hand-mixed holy water. That's the world-class culinarian I married. Nashu. Look at the inspector go! I'm right behind you, Inspector! Pardon. And with that, my work here is done. You are by far the least incompetent associate I encountered in my travels. For preserving some shred of my sanity, you have my thanks. That said, my time in this land was not a total loss. My experiences here have taught me an important lesson, that this world and the fools who populate it rarely, if ever, abide by the principles of logic. This should serve me well in my future cases. And most importantly of all, I leave here with a vow that has given my life new meaning. Ahem, but this is no time for sentiment. Ellie, I'm sorry for deceiving you, Celebrian. For what it's worth, it wasn't personal. Elise. After 400 years, this might very well spell the end of the Arbiters of Truth. Whether or not to replace the Fallen is a decision of my superiors to make. In either event, I have decided to renounce my position. I thought they were but white lies, but I have seen firsthand the suffering they can cause. Ceci. Ellie, forgive me. Exactly why is she out here instead of back in Ulda? Humphrey. The Gentlemen of Light. Core, they were every bit as radiant as I pegged them to be. One day I'll be a hero myself. Just you watch. Huh? And so we need to head to Andapur Keep, which is all the way in the Black Shroud and over there. And I'm going to teleport to the quarry mill. And of course, Hildibrand is in the ground again. Ahem! Is that you, Celebrant? Pray forgive me. I was right on Greg's trail when I encountered a subterranean curiosity that demanded my immediate attention. I will be concluding my investigation forthwith. But in the meantime, might I trouble you to entertain Greg and his primal friend in my stead? Together we will reclaim the treaty blade from the knave, Celebrian. Yes, just going ahead. I'll be along directly. Battle in the Big Keep now accessible. At long last, we meet again on the battlefield. I dare say Enkidu shall come to enjoy our tussles as much as I. You, however, might not find this one as enjoyable, unless you enjoy getting pounded senseless. Ah. Hey, run away? Ha! I was seeking out a more suitable location of something. But enough exposition, now we fight like men and ladies who dress like men! Right, Gilgamesh, it is transmogrify time. The mightiest warrior ever to grace the Eorzea stands before you, by which I mean I, Gilgamesh. Prepare yourself! To think that my full complement of arm would avail me not. Or complement of arms, whatever. No more hijinks from Gilgamesh, you have my word! The treaty blade too I shall return, just as soon as I remember where I hid it! Anyway, I yield to your unparalleled whatever something. I lied again, like a rug. Something, something. You can take that fusty old blade for all I care. I thirst for true power. Not save the strongest of swords will suffice. Warrior of Light, you have proven a worthy opponent, but I warn you, treasure every moment with your weapon. Whatever. Forget it, I can't read. For sure as the day follows night, the hour will come again when I claim it as mine own. Till we meet again. Hildibrand. What ho, Celebrant! Have you seen Greg and his oversized avian companion? Lead them to me at once. We shall deliver the coup de grace together. Already did it. The battle has already been won? That is triumphant news indeed. Clearly the lessons you have learned from me have not been for naught. Yeah, totally. And what's this you say? The treaty blade lies hidden somewhere in the nearby wood? Worry not, my ever-loyal associate, for no buried treasure will escape the keen eye of Hildibrand, agent of inquiry and inspector extraordinaire. Now, which way was the forest again? We're in the forest, you idiot. Why are they all here? Celebrant, what news of the primal and the treaty blade? And why? Why? Remarkable! I knew the Warrior of Light would emerge triumphant. Let us hope the Inspector Hildibrand enjoys similar success in finding the blade. Such design, such craftsmanship, at once bold and powerful, yet sensitive and refined. I believe I found the inspiration from an ex-masterpiece. Of course they're beautiful. They were the greatest treasures of lost Sildi. To think that they were locked away in the vaults of those that destroyed our homeland and dragged our ancestors' names through the mud. And just how did you come to know of these long-lost relics? There was an ancient scroll passed down in our family, left to us by our dear grandmother. It spoke of the 4 warriors of light, their 4 relics, and an incantation of untold power. If we could have wielded this magic of legend, Ellie and I might still have had the last laugh. Alas, speaking the words had no effect. Only a warrior of light can wield the power, or so the legend goes. Ah, what I wouldn't have given to see it. The ultimate achievement of the greatest mages this realm has ever known. And just what sort of incantation is this? The ring casts upon the doors of justice. The wise men whisper a verdict true. Azimia's virtue shines down from the heavens. To complete the incantation, the warrior of light would then hold forth the treaty blade and speak, "Blade in hand, I swear unto you." The legends differ as to what happens next, but all speak of a great holy radiance shining down from the heavens. Over here, friends! Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, returns with tidings most triumphant. Behold, safe in my hands, none other than the treaty blade, and the real one this time, I swear unto you, and yet you just dug it into the ground. Yes, yes, just like that, I swear unto you, then... My word, whatever is this odd tingling sensation? Ridiculous! Hildibrand isn't a warrior of light. He's just some fool thought he could stop the lesser moon with his own bare hands. It would seem the treaty blade is just as confused as the rest of us. No, the light. Someone stop it! I won't I won't stand to see the legendary power of our forefathers wielded by this muscle-bound buffoon. Shiny. Skyward ho! Well, I dare say that proved to be the most useful incantation indeed. And so the light of justice that shone from the treaty blade vanished, the shadow returning the peace to the land. So the legend ended. I must say I never expected it quite literally a beam of light. I suppose it wouldn't have been much use to us after all. Inspector! Oh, Inspector, wait for me! Those balls, Hildy. First you almost die at your poor mother's feet, and now you fly off to God's nowhere without even giving her a kiss goodbye? Oh ho ho! It appears that a case of wanderlust has once again struck Hildibrand, as it has many a Manderville man before him. Godspeed, my boy. When the day comes that you tire of mystery solving, your dear old man will be here to pass on you the family art. Pass on to you the family art? So in the end, the Syldian incantation of legend was wielded not by a warrior of light, but a gentleman of light? Well, the treaty blade is some 6 entries old, after all. Perhaps it's not quite as sharp as it used to be. Sure, we'll go with that. Magic that brought peace and happiness to the people of Belladia. It was every bit as beautiful as I imagined. To think I would see it with my own eyes. It's nothing short of a dream come true. Humph. He bumbles and stumbles through yet another case, and still he managed to make a girl's dream come true. A gentleman to the end, a bloody jerk.
Pretty sky.
What is this? A glint in the corner of my eye? A curious scent? Wafting out on the winds of a far-flung land? Do I smell a case? Worry not for me, my friends, for wherever the wronged want for succor, I, Hildibrand, shall be there, till we meet again! Hildibrand will return? And thus concludes the quests for Hildibrand for the A Realm Reborn part in between A Realm Reborn and the Heavensward expansion. And we'll see Manderville again in between Heavensward and Stormblood. And that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.